Hello and welcome to Squid Nation. I'm your host, the Squid God, and I'm joined by the Evil Queen once again.
Hi.
And today we're going to be talking about the Dark Age, the second Dark Age of Disney, or the post-Renaissance era, as its nickname. So, what did you think of this era overall?
It wasn't my favourite era.
It's a very controversial era.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think my nickname for it is the era where Pixar took over. And I think Bob Iger would agree with me, considering he bought Pixar within this era. But it's basically the 2000s to 2008 era where Disney was very confused because Michael Eisner was on his own directing without his trusty associates, and so things got a bit sketchy around the main Disney animation bits and bobs. We are only talking about these specific films excluding Dinosaur because I'm not watching Dinosaurs again and it wasn't included in the Blu-ray package, if I'm being completely honest. So, did you have any expectations going into this era?
No expectations.
No expectations?
No expectations.
Well, you liked a few of these from this era.
Yeah.
To be fair, right, considering me and you were 2000s kids, as in we were born in 2000s and grew up through that era, it's really weird because this is what we had knowing what Disney was in that modern sense.
Yeah.
Did you have any, like, even back then, did you have any expectations of modern Disney in that sense, or was it a bit bizarre?
I don't really know.
Well, we were kind of young at that point,
Yeah.
so... I mean, I remember Chicken Little and Lilo and Stitch, ironically,
Yeah.
like the fondness from that like kind of era. But we'll get into that from rewatching them. Are you ready to jump in? I'm going to jump into the film straight away with this one because this is a bit of a weird era to tackle. Starting off with the sequel to no one's favourite Disney film, Fantasia 2000.
Yeah.
What did you think going into Fantasia 2000 as someone who wasn't a big fan of the original
I
Fantasia?
still preferred the first one.
Yeah.
Definitely.
To be fair, unlike a lot of people, I wouldn't say Fantasia 2000 was bad. Like, I think there's only really one short that's aged kind of poorly, and that was, I don't know if you remember it, with the Toy Soldier one,
Oh, yeah.
and the Jack in the Box. That was the only one I think that's really aged poorly, but other than that, it's fine.
Yeah.
I think the celebrity guest thing kind of dates it a bit. Because, like, in 20 years' time... Well, not 20 years, but, like, let's say 50 years' time, who's going to remember, like, Penn and Teller, for example? Like, do you even know who they are now, like, fully?
Nope.
They're good magicians, but...
Okay.
And that's coming from someone who doesn't like magicians particularly. It's not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
But no, did you have any shorts that you thought were highlighted in that? In 2000? Other than reusing Sorcerer's Apprentice, because that's cheating.
I quite like the Noah's Ark one. Was that in it?
Yeah, the Donald Duck version. Other than, how the hell did he spend, like, what was it, 40 days, 40 nights without seeing Daisy?
Yeah.
That's rubbish. I quite like the New York one, personally. It was like the Blueprints one, and it was like of New York, and it had like the jazz beat to it.
Yeah.
And I quite like the Firebird one,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I liked Firebird.
and the nature one, that was quite good.
Yeah.
And the Wales one was alright, the opening one. But other than that, I think it was made in, like, the modern era where Fantasia was kind of less impressive for that, because animation was, like, heavily established at that point. And there are a few elements of it that kind of dates it. That's all I've really got to say about Fantasia 2000. It's alright, it's good, it's got some good shorts, but... If I'm being honest, I think, the modern Mickey Mouse shorts, the 2017 ones to the modern day... Like, I think they're a better, like, Fantasia 2000 than Fantasia 2000 is, ironically. It's got more variety, ironically, and, again, while, like, the segments are good, they're not great or outstanding. And you don't have, like, the golden era, like, standards to, like, back it up, either.
Yeah.
Yep. Do you have any other points you want to make on Fantasia 2000?
Not really, no.
Yep, okay, well, we'll move on to my favourite personal of this era, and that's Emperor's New Groove. I absolutely love this film.
I like Emperor's New Groove.
There is honestly nothing... to be fair, to me, there is nothing wrong with this film.
No.
Absolutely love it. The comedy is, like, absolutely perfectly timed to everything. Kuzco is an amazing main character. Yzma is fantastic. Kronk is the purest thing that has ever come from anything the human race has made, ever. There's just nothing to bash in this film,
It's
is
the
there?
fact that you've watched Emperor's New Groove clips today.
Well, I mean, could you help me? It said Emperor's New Groove out of context. I was going to watch it. And you were laughing with it still. I think to me, like, Emperor's New Groove is like the, what the Oliver and Company is to, the Dark Age. It's, like, so out there and bizarre.
Yeah.
but it works so well in its own little era. Excuse the language, but it's a shit post before, shit posting was a thing. That film. It is! And I know a lot of people were disappointed by, the original, concepts for it, because it was going to be a very serious, film originally.
Yeah, it's been based on the Emperor's New Clothes, wasn't it, from Hans Christian Andersen, was it? Oh, am I wrong in thinking?
Oh, no, it was, say, something like, I want to say Golden Sun, but I know that's the name of a video game, but I know what I'm on about.
Oh, I don't know.
But it was going to be a very, if you look at the concept art, Google it, Emperor's New Groove original concept art, it was going to be, a very serious tale, and it had a very troubled production. But I quite like what we got, if I'm being honest. Every element works. And I like how it treats itself as just a full comedy rather than, anything else. It knows what it is stylistically, and it stands out a lot from Disney because of that.
Definitely.
Yep. So, do you have any negative points for Emperor's New Groove?
I don't think there was any negatives.
I mean, if you wanted a more serious film, maybe, but I don't care.
Well, it's a nice fun one.
Yeah. Kronk's New Groove, however, is a bit... Oh dear, but...
I thought you'd like that.
I did, and I didn't. Like I said, when we get to the Disney sequels, then that's when I can start complaining about certain elements, but I'm waiting for that, trust me.
That's not the particular name you usually use for the...
Just leave that out for now, please. But yeah, everyone should watch Emperor's New Groove. I think it should be law. When I rule the world, it will be law to watch the Emperor's New Groove at some point in your life. Right, moving to the next one. Atlantis, The Lost Empire.
Yeah.
What do you think of this one?
I don't really remember a lot of this one.
I think stylistically...
It was pretty.
It was pretty. Very pretty film. And I like the comic book art of it.
Yeah.
That really pops out to me, and a lot of the unique designs. Very steampunk in that, sense, but also magical and whimsical. I think my problem with Atlantis, though, is I completely forget most of the characters, though.
I wanted to see more of the people from Atlantis.
Right.
I just didn't feel like they got as much, a lot of...
I thought that's what have you ever seen the sequel to it?
No.
Which feels like, 4 TV pilots stitched together.
Right.
Right, I think, it would have made a really good TV show, if I'm being honest. And I'd love, a modern Disney Plus show on it. What are you giggling at?
I spilled my drink down me.
Ignore that. Never mind. But yeah, I think there's a lot more potential with Atlantis itself, but, the first, half an hour or so is dedicated to getting there.
Yeah.
While it's alright, I think once they get to Atlantis and they start exploring the culture, it slows down heavily. And by the time you get to the villain twist and everything of, we want these people for money and everything, it just kind of nosedives into genericness.
Yeah.
Which is weird, because I remember people praising the villain for being, quite unique, but I can't remember his name for the life of me.
No, I can't.
I know who he is. I can see the image in my head and everything,
Yeah, I can
but...
see him, I just can't...
just mercenary for hire.
Yeah.
To me, it was a worse version of Clayton and Gaston.
Yeah. Definitely.
And a lot of people consider Clayton Poundland Gaston anyway, so...
We're not talking about that, though.
Yeah, we're talking about...
We're going to get on talking about that.
No, let's avoid that topic as long as we can. But no, I mean, aesthetically, I want to like it a lot more than I do.
Yeah, and I can see why people think it's underrated in a way.
Yeah. It's one of those... I wouldn't mind them to return to this franchise.
I'd like to see a live action of it.
You know what they did with DuckTales on 101 Dalmatians? Or Dalmatian Street? I'd love that for Disney, Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of potential there for the Atlantis scene itself.
Might be better as a series.
Yeah. Because I think, it's a very, enriched area that they could really dive into, and the locals and everything in that film, the world building is something that's, really commendable with it.
Yeah.
So, it's just a shame the main story itself was a bit, And, for God's sake, I like Michael J. Fox normally, but whoever casted him as the main character, I just don't think it works, personally.
I'll leave him alone.
It sounds a bit bizarre, I'm sorry. Right. It's alright. I would recommend watching it, though, if I'm being honest.
Once, yeah.
Yeah. It's not endlessly rewatchable, but I do think it's worth watching.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, the next one, unless you have anything else to say about Atlantis.
No.
Yep. So, the next one, is right. I would argue this is the better film than Emperor's New Groove, but I do personally prefer Emperor's New Groove. You know immediately what I'm talking about, don't you? Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah.
Lilo and Stitch is fantastic, isn't it?
I love Lilo and Stitch.
Right, name something wrong with it already.
Nothing wrong with it.
It's great.
It's perfect.
I love the aliens plots. They're quite funny. Saying that whole like little economy and everything, and the little lie, you know, of the mosquitoes being the endangered species that saves Earth. I don't know why. It's not even a joke, but it makes me laugh. Stitch is a fantastic design in itself.
Yeah.
I absolutely love Lilo, by the way, as well.
Yeah, I love Lilo.
I don't think Lilo is talked about enough.
No.
But like I say, she's one of the best like Disney main characters for me.
Nani's not talked about enough.
Nani is fantastic.
She's brilliant.
I do have a bit of bias being like the oldest sibling in my family as well with Nani, but
She don't get enough credit. She needs more.
she's a very in-depth character that they don't talk about a lot, ironically.
Exactly.
And I think as well, Lilo and Stitch, this is a bit of a side thing, but I think it's one of the rare franchises as well in Disney where, you know, where the side stuff is really good as well. That wasn't butchered by the sequels or anything. That was just expanded with the sequels and the series and everything.
Yeah.
You know, with Stitch meeting the experiments and everything.
Yeah.
Side tangent, I know, but even then, like, the Hawaiian setting as well is really good and is taken quite well advantaged of, you know, with, like, the Elvis, like, references.
You can't go wrong with Elvis music as well.
I know, but even the imagery, like, even minor stuff, like, you know, with how the fish are drawn, like, in the opening, for example. And, you know, Fudge the Fish, who is God and our Lord and Saviour. I wonder why you didn't bang into Fudge the Fish, I'll never know. But,
Pudge,
you know,
do you mean?
Pudge, not Pudge, not Fudge. You might have a fudge sandwich. Have you ever had a fudge sandwich? Don't have a fudge sandwich, it tastes gross, I can tell you now. It's not coming from experience, I promise. I'm lying, obviously. But, yeah, there's nothing bad to say about Lilo and Stitch if you ask me. It's just a great time.
Lilo and Stitch for ages.
Well, go on then.
No.
Just because you want to talk about Pudge and that's it. It's got some of the most underrated jokes as well, innit?
Yeah.
Like the left shoe. Again, if you've seen it, you know what I mean, but the left shoe joke, I don't know why, it just makes me howl every time. And it's even like incorporated into the character in Disney World as well.
Yeah.
Because didn't you try nicking your left shoe at the Hawaiian breakfast as well?
No, it was when
the
I
Polynesian.
was little. It wasn't this time, it was when I was little. I met him. I think it was in Animal Kingdom at the time. So he used to be there, and he tried to take my shoe. And Lilo told him off.
I respect that greatly.
I didn't know the reference at the time, but looking back,
yeah. But yeah, Lilo and Stitch is a franchise I can gush about for ages. I'm sure you can as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that'll be a separate video if I'm being honest. But
yeah.
Lilo and Stitch, again, I know I say it a lot, but very underrated.
Definitely.
I think it's definitely a gem that is like top 10 material.
Exactly.
Absolutely fantastic. You got great human drama. You got great alien humor if you're into that, which gets expanded upon in the sequels.
It's pretty dark.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of the things that's going on in their lives.
Yeah, it's just a shame that Disney don't talk about it a lot more than they should.
Yeah.
Like Stitch's reference, but Lilo and Nani, just underrated characters.
Exactly.
But yeah, watch Lilo and Stitch. That's all I can say.
Watch it multiple times.
There is surfing in it, alright? If a film's got surfing, I'll at least recommend it once, no matter how bad it is. That'll go to bite me in the ass when we could talk about the Disney Channel films, but shush for now. Right. But yeah, moving on. Me and you felt a bit different to this one, if I recall. Treasure Planet.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, that's the reaction.
Oh.
No, with Treasure Planet, I really like the first half. The second half is a bit dragged out, though. You know, when they actually get to the planet itself. Yeah. I quite like the little piece of goo they hang out with, you know, the shape-shifting piece of goo.
Oh, yeah.
He's cool. And, right, I think even you can agree with this. You know the main character and the pirate's dynamic, you know, the cook?
Yeah.
Yeah. Their relationship is quite unique.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's something that, that is the one thing that doesn't fade or, diminish throughout that film. That is the one thing that builds, throughout the entire thing. Their relationship.
Yeah.
And I like how it does actually accumulate to, a realistic take. I'm glad his dad didn't come back. Kind of thing. And he, found peace in, you know, having someone to relate to, even though he wasn't the best character.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that's, quite, you know, ballsy of him. Yeah. And I do like the aesthetic of a lot of it, you know, with the old-timey ships.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Yeah. I know a lot of people have argued it doesn't mesh well, but I don't know. I've got a soft spot for it, but I've got a soft spot for pirate films anyway, so
Yeah.
I absolutely love me pirate stuff. So, I'm a big One Piece fan, so... Yeah, did you say? But there are quite a few negatives with this. Say, do you want to jump into any specifically?
I can't really remember any.
Benny?
Specifically.
Does Benny ring any bells?
Oh,
The robot, yeah.
Yeah.
You hated Benny, I remember that. Yeah. And some of the CGI, I will admit, doesn't hold up the best.
No.
It looks very early 2000s cheapness. And the music. Mainly that cringy pop song that plays in it. I normally love a bit of cringy, like, you know, pop and rock song, but, oh god, it really don't work in that. But I do like the first half of Treasure Planet quite a lot. And I think what it gets right is done really well. But when it starts to fumble, you really do feel it.
Yeah.
Right. Do you have anything else to add to Treasure Planet?
No.
Side characters are good as well, but again.
I appreciate it.
They're not great, but I would argue Treasure Planet is better than than some of the Dark Age stuff.
Yeah.
But moving on to a next one, which I could rant about for hours, and you've heard me rant about it for hours. Brother Bear. I really don't like Brother Bear.
I was hoping it would surprise me.
Yeah, so was I. You know what my favourite part of the entire film was?
Oh.
When it confused me, because you know when it was filmed in the short aspect ratio at first for the Blu-ray, and I thought there was something wrong with the Blu-ray player, and then oh no, it just turns out it's that before he turns into a bear. That is the most positive thing I can say about Brother Bear.
Didn't I actually start doing work during this?
Yeah, you were doing your university work while we were watching it. That's how bored we was. Okay, now I'm going to challenge you. Positives about Brother Bear. She says while drinking her cider.
Didn't say anything.
It looks nice.
Yeah.
But
the scenery is nice.
The songs are okay.
Well, yeah.
It's not quite Tarzan level, but you know.
Not Tarzan Phil Collins, but
yeah.
no, I've got nothing to say.
The moose are alright. That's like the most positive I can say.
Yeah.
The two moose.
Yeah.
They're a duo, alright.
Rick Moranis.
But I think the story was very sloppy. The pacing was awful. The music choices just came out of nowhere. It's one of the first Disney films where I went, what the hell is this story?
Can't we just have a film about the moose?
You'd probably get very bored of it quickly. I can't wait for the villain origin story, the moose. They are evil, I'm telling you now. I think the only thing that's modernly come out of Brother Bear is the fact that it's Walking Phoenix as the main voice. Which now no one can watch the film properly because all they hear is the Joker.
Yeah.
I think that's the most modern value you can give to the film. But other than that, no, I don't like it. The music choices are just really confused. It's really badly paced. I'm not exactly sure what the film's about, if I'm being completely honest. Be a good brother, but not as a human, as a bear. I think that was the message.
That's a message for you, Sam. There you go. Be a bear.
Be a bear.
Be a bear.
I'll turn myself into a bear and we'll see how Merida copes with it then, shall we?
Yeah.
Again, foreshadowing for a Pixar marathon.
You have got 3 siblings. Merida has 3 siblings.
Yeah, but we're not even including the step siblings in that, which is even more impressive. I think we should get off this. This is getting rather personal.
Yeah. We're not even on the Pixar area yet.
Yeah. Anyway, don't bother with Brother Bear. You're wasting your time. And dear God, don't ever even think about touching Brother Bear 2. You haven't watched Brother Bear 2, have you?
I don't think so.
God, I envy you so much. Okay, are you ready for the next one? Unless you want to write about Brother Bear even more.
Let's move on before we carry on.
Okay, another bad one. Home on the Range.
I was still doing uni work.
Well, as I like to call it, the hypnotised cow film.
Oh my god. Yeah.
This is such a nothing film, isn't it?
Yeah, the main baddie singing a song that.
Yeah, he sung this cringy parody of Western songs. And then it hypnotized cows or something.
Yeah.
And then led to some weird visuals, which normally I don't mind weird visuals, but these were just... Why are they here?
Why was the film there? I don't get the meaning of the film.
Other than some, like, farmyard fart jokes. Wasn't it, like, trying to get the farm back or something in the whole thing?
Something like that.
Like, the three cows ventured off and, like, learned friendship or something.
Yeah.
I think that was the message.
Yeah, and they all wore hats for some reason.
You know what, like, I haven't got anything positive to say about this film, other than, yeah, the weird, like, hypnotised dream sequence is cool, but that's it.
Yeah.
And, like, the animation's good, but not worth it on the project like that.
No.
If you want it, you know those the Wonderful World of Mickey Mouse shorts, the new ones on Disney Plus. Just watch the Western on that. It is so much better and so much shorter.
Well, not bragging, but you keep going on about these.
Because they are just better.
Yeah, I know.
They are fantastic, but just watch the Western episode of that. I think it's episode 1 or 2. But just watch that. I'm probably completely wrong in that sentence as well. But, you know, go just watch that. It's so much better. It's just not a waste of time. It's fantastic. Anyway, I'm not saying any more about Home on the Rage, because I ain't got anything else to say other than pig go fart or burp. You know. But other than that, you know what? Let's go to the next one. Right, a film I still consider so bad it's good, and no one else agrees with me on this. Chicken Little.
Oh, yes.
Chicken Little.
The sky is falling down.
Right, Chicken Little is so bad it's funny. I don't care. It's such a mean-spirited film that it made me laugh. Right, you know, when even the dad hates his child.
Yeah.
You know, you might have done something wrong. And the world building is so broken, like to the point where all the animals are in the cinema watching Raiders of the Lost Ark before, you know, the actual boulder comes crashing through. Are real people official in this universe? If Raiders of the Lost Ark is a thing. It confuses me on many levels. And the Spice Girls are a thing, apparently, in this universe. And Queen is a thing in this universe. What animal was Freddie Mercury, or was he human just like Harrison Ford was? Because he's singing We Are the Champions at one point. What is going on? And all the character designs confuse and frighten me. The giant pig, or is it Runt of the Litter?
Yeah. I mean, with the name of character that.
He scares me. And the fish. Fish out of water.
Yeah.
Who does King Kong references for no reason.
Leave fish alone.
Fish was great, alright? He was the best part. He doesn't
was
talk.
brilliant.
He doesn't talk, so he's easily the best character. And for God's sake, right, Chicken Little, right, why the hell does he sound like a 35-year-old? He's the smallest character in the film, right, and he's a school student. Why does he sound like a 35-year-old?
He probably is a 35-year-old.
Why couldn't you have casted that better?
Do you want to voice him?
Oh, I probably could have done a better voice. You know, if you didn't mind, you know, Chicken Little being overly British, but, you know, in an American school. No, right. So first it starts off as, like, you know, this chicken's crazy, right, movie.
When you?
Shut up. Right, and then it turns into a baseball movie. And then it turns into an alien invasion movie.
Yeah.
Oh no, I forgot, because before it turns to an alien invasion movie, it turns to a conspiracy movie. It's so tonally broken, but I kind of love it for that. You'll never watch anything like it, will you?
No.
Oh my god.
You have to see it.
I know, but we all liked it as kids, that's the sad part.
Yeah. Like, do you remember the McDonald's toys you could get of them?
I've got a funny story with that. So there was another kid I'm not going to mention here, but I remember I borrowed his Runt of the Litter Happy Meal toy, and he borrowed my Batmobile, and I lost the toy. And then I remember I was on holiday at one point, right? Went to see my aunt and uncle with my grandparents, and they also had that same toy, the Runt of the Little one, and I nicked it, and then gave it back that way to get me Batmobile back.
Does this kid know? that it wasn't actually his toy.
What, my aunt? Oh, what, the kid? I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure he don't even have the, like, runs of the litter anymore.
Yeah, but I meant, did he know when you give it back?
Why would I tell him? No! It looked the same.
So, if he looks back at that moment right now, he would think...
That was stolen.
If he hears this...
I don't think he will, but yeah.
Yeah, but if he did somehow stumble upon this...
If you do, I'm not sorry. You got the same toy back. But yeah, I borrowed it, lost it, and then went on it. Luckily, I'm not saying the name, but, you know, one of my cousins had the same toy, so I nicked it.
Do they know that he's nicked it?
Probably not, but, you know, she smokes now and everything, so, you know, I don't think they care anymore.
So if she sees it, she's also going to know that you stole it.
Yeah, probably, but, you know, at this point, I don't care. If you were really scarred and traumatized by this event, I guess I apologise, but you should probably be over it by now.
Oh, we're getting so off track with this one.
If you want a giggle, watch Chicken Little. If you want a so bad it's good giggle, watch Chicken Little. Adam West is in it. That's all I need to say. Adam West is at the very end, and for some reason, that portion of the film within a film has its own video game. I'm not even joking. I remember the adverts from when I was a kid. So if you want to play as Batman as a chicken, then yes, absolutely watch it. And play it.
Let's just move on.
Let's move on. Okay, next is, these next two might be out of order, so I apologise in advance if you really care that much. Meet the Robinsons.
Meet the Robinsons.
Shall I get the positives out the way?
Yeah, because it terrified you, this film, didn't it?
It is still scary. 1, there is a parkour in T-Rex. You cannot go wrong with the sentence, there is a parkour in T-Rex. And 2, you really want to give Boiler Hat Guy a cuddle.
Boiler Hat Guy was brilliant.
All the memes that came from him. I will respect that endlessly. And he's just funny. He's funnier than all the main characters, which annoys me. Okay, my positives are over.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people say this is like an underrated gem, but I don't really see it like that. Like the animation is kind of jarring to this day. Like all the characters look like they're from Toy Story.
Yeah.
Which, you know, you could say is an insult, but no, Toy Story still looks fine to this day and makes it work within its own context. And even at that point, you know, Pixar had done Finding Nemo, which is still a pretty film to this day. But Meet the Robinsons just looks terrifying. Also, it doesn't help what, like, you know, the main film, like, the main title of the film, like, spoils it immediately. Because it builds it up as this main twist, and it's just very obvious.
Yeah.
Which, I know this was one, I think that went through a lot of, like, production hell, basically, so I can't really blame it on that front, but still.
Yeah.
It just feels like they threw, this is the ultimate, like, idea of, they threw a load of darts at a wall and saw what stick, you know.
Yeah.
They just put a load of notes up, threw darts at and went, oh, let's put that in, you know, with, like, the frogs and stuff and all the family gimmicks.
Frogs?
Yeah, I don't get it.
Why?
Again, I think the funniest bit about the film, not the funniest film, no, it's definitely not the funniest film, no, is Boiler Hat Guy, and that's it. But when it takes itself seriously at the end as well, I just, no. What do you think of this one?
Not a big fan.
I couldn't see myself rewatching this.
No, not really, unless I, like, had to.
All I'd recommend is watching the Boiler Hat scenes on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, he is honestly the best part of the film, and that's all you've really got to watch it for me.
Exactly.
I'm not going to say too much, because I understand why people would like it,
Yeah.
because it is very, like, bizarre and out there, but for me, it was a bit too much in that area.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to move on. To easily my least favourite Disney film ever, The Wild. The Wild is horrible, it's animated disgustingly, nothing blends together, the story is bland. It's honestly, it's the only time I think, like, Disney tried to rip off another, like, you know, corporation, which was DreamWorks, because it's clearly a Madagascar knockoff.
Yeah.
Right, but ironically, it just doesn't have any of the charm, the wit, or its own identity.
It just didn't work.
It was horrible. And even when Madagascar 2 did the same plot, it even did that. Like, Madagascar 2 did it a lot better. I hate it. Honestly, I'd say it's one of the worst Disney properties ever, The Wild.
I always forget about this one.
Yeah, and for good reason, because you're just trying to block it out your mind.
Yeah.
But honestly, I'd never recommend this on any level. it's even too boring to recommend as so bad it's good. It's just horrible.
Yeah.
Also,
But ironically.
I'd recommend a lot of Illumination films over it, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, don't watch it. Awful. Nothing else to say. I'd rather watch The Black Cauldron again.
Yeah.
Right. And finally, the last one of this era is Bolt. What do you think of Bolt, of John Travolta?
I didn't mind bits of it, but it just wasn't.
I think there's a better film in there.
Yeah.
Right. I think it was also done elsewhere. I don't know if this was done in America, but the film in the UK was they flat out lied to us, because the trailers made it out to be about a superpowered dog, like what the TV show within the film is about.
Yeah.
And then you actually got to the cinema,
And it was.
and it wasn't.
It was an actor dog.
Yeah. So in that sense, yeah, I guess I was betrayed, just like all the characters, just like Bolt was within the film.
We've just probably spoilt it for a lot of people that haven't seen it.
Well, no offense, but you've had over 10 years to catch up on it, so.
If you haven't seen it, sorry, but.
I mean, I think Mittens and the Pigeons are the best characters.
Yeah.
And I think there are some good moments, like when he's in the car and he's sticking his tongue out, and when he's learning to be a good an actual dog.
Yeah.
Like bits like that are good. And the pigeons are the best characters, easy. And Rhino had the odd scene. Wasn't a big fan of him, but I think he had the odd scene. I understand why kids would like him.
Yeah.
And I think it's more like the one reason why this one winds me up the most is because there is a better film in there.
Yeah, definitely.
It could have been so much better than it actually was, but
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I've really got to say about Bolt.
Same.
It's alright. Yeah. But it could have been so much more.
Yeah.
And if you want to watch like a submersive piece on, like the superhero genre that's animated, watch Megamind. Megamind's a genuinely good film, alright? So I'd recommend that, but that's all I've really got to say about the post-Renaissance. Where would you rank this, like, overall in the, like Disney rankings of the eras? Of the classic eras, anyway?
I don't know. Where would you?
Because for me, right, it's one of those, when this era hits gold, it really does hit gold, with Emperor's New Groove and Lilo and Stitch specifically.
Yeah.
Like, there are some of my favourite Disney films ever.
Yeah.
But it's lows, honestly, like, The Wild specifically is honestly terrible. And, like, if it wasn't for a bit of fondness from Chicken Little, like, for example, like, honestly, I'd recommend, I don't know if I'd put it, like, below the wartime age, but the wartime age at least has an excuse for being that bad.
Yeah.
Well, overall, like, if you just have to take Emperor's New Groove and Lilo and Stitch out of that era and it's redeemed.
Yeah.
But, honestly, I'd put it, like, very low down, I'm afraid.
Same.
Like, Dark Age era as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you have any, so yeah, is it clear which your favourites and least favourites are?
Favourites Lilo and Stitch, and least favourites Brother Bear.
I'd say The Wild was worse than Brother Bear, personally. And my personal favourite was Emperor's New Groove, but Lilo and Stitch is the better film, I will admit that, like, flat out the gate, but I could watch Emperor's New Groove on a flipping loop all day.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, that's all I've really got to say about this era. Do you have any final closing comments?
No.
So that'll be it then. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and I don't know, follow her on her Instagram if she ever links it, which she never does. So there we go. Easy to do. So, any final comments?
No.
Okay then. I guess you can have a good day then and eat a croissant. Good day.
Bye.
Well, we're in 2000s cringe. I can end it like that. Goodbye.